the other screen. We need to talk about this info, this report on the coronavirus pandemic. This is more than 500 pages long. We're not going to read the 500 pages. That is a bit too much for our show. Maybe the show would be like 20 hours or so. But we are going to read the first part, which is the important. This was released, or was meant to release on December 4th, says here, 2024, but was already available and in the website of the House of Representatives. What were the let's summarize in this investigation what they arrive at. Number one, the possibility that COVID-19 emerged because of a laboratory or research-related accident is not a conspiracy theory. Finally, oh my God, conspiracy theorists, they called us every single name in the book. Oh, no, it must have been a bat. It must have been a pangolin. It must have been something, why would you think that it was from a lab? Why? It was just a coincidence. It was that, that the bat was just walking next to the Wuhan lab and he sleeps, he stepped on a banana peel and just bumped his head, and that's where SARS-CoV-2 started. It had nothing to do with any biolabs or something. No, it's not a conspiracy theory anymore. It started in a lab. It started in a lab because of people wanted to play with gain of function. And I still think that gain of function, the ability to create super viruses, to study them so we are prepared for when they appear in nature. Does that make sense? I don't know. It's like, okay, we don't have supernatural monsters. Let's open a portal that brings the supernatural monsters into, a concealed space. So we'll learn to fight the supernatural monsters if they happen to come into our dimension at any time. I don't know. Have you thought of, dedicating your time to not opening that portal? Have you thought of not doing gain of function research? And not creating the viruses in the first place? Maybe that would help. I mean, I know it. I like humanity to take risks. I like, progress. I like tech. I think there are many ways that we can help humanity doing crazy things. But this level of crazy things, no, this is not the way. This is not the way that you help humanity. This is the way that you try to play God and, lose as a result. Number 2, Eco Health Alliance Incorporated and Dr. Peter Daszak should never again receive U.S. taxpayer dollars. Okay. Oh, that is nice. Why? Because they channel part of those finances to finance gain of function research overseas. And we know how that ended. Number 3, scientific messaging must be clear and concise. But that is interesting, because I tried to be clear and concise, trying to interpret the gobbledygook that they try to push on us and say, well, this makes sense, this doesn't make sense, and all of a sudden I'm a conspiracy theorist, and all of a sudden I'm a crazy anti-vaxxer, or I'm a crazy pandemic denialist. And wait a second, I'm just trying to use critical thinking in here. You're saying things that don't make sense. And they had to write in here. Scientific messaging must be clear and concise, backed by evidentiary support, and come from trusted messengers such as frontline doctors treating patients. What happened to those frontline doctors? Most of them were silenced. Most of them were silenced. They tried to say, this is what is happening. No. You cannot say that because you're going to be alarming people. You cannot alarm people. Well, get your shit together. What is it? Say or not say? Say something, do something, see something, say something, or not say something. I don't know. I'm confused. So if I say what's going on, such as frontline doctors treating patients, we are saying this. No. You are being silenced. You are being canceled from Twitter back then. You cannot say that. You're going to alarm people unnecessarily. You're spreading misinformation. We don't know what is this yet. So what is it? We shut the fuck up or we speak. That is the problem. That is the issue. Scientific messaging. This is already when I saw point 3 of this 500 report. I already said I don't have high hopes for the next 500 pages. Number 4, public health officials must work to regain Americans' trust. Americans want to be educated, not indoctrinated. No shit, you mofo. You can bet your ass that not only Americans, any citizen of the world wants to be educated, not indoctrinated. And what did they do? The most important, the most relevant thing they did was to claim that the vaccines stopped transmission. That was the instant I knew they were lying, because that was simply not possible. You would be defying the laws of biology, physics, chemistry. But if you said something, oh, who are you? You are just a YouTuber. You are the body language guy. You work with pseudoscience. We have to trust the science. We have to trust the scientists. You said, oh, I'm trusting the science. I'm reading the reports of how vaccines are made. I'm reading how this works. I'm reading the promising technology of mRNA technology, which I have to make it clear once again that I'm completely up for that as long as it's tested as any other advance in technology, especially if it's medical. But you try to say, hey, wait a minute. That doesn't make sense. You cannot develop a vaccine in 6 months. Why? Well, because you need clinical trials. And the clinical trials themselves take months, if not years, to complete. You don't have a time machine to do that. You cannot just accelerate the effects of this, what can happen over a few months. That is simply not possible. And about the transmission, that was exactly fooling the public. They were using the ignorance of the public, the ignorance that I can understand that. It's like when I read the tweets by John Carmack or Elon Musk, when we begin to talk about rockets or especially John Carmack, when he begins to talk about programming or high-level science, I don't understand a single thing. I ask ChatGPT, explain this to me in doom eternal terms. And that's when I can understand what John Carmack is speaking about. But we didn't have ChatGPT back then. And if we had ChatGPT back then, it would have been censored. That's for sure. So all this is things that we already knew in the summer of what year was it? It was 2020. In the summer of 2020. Oh, they want to regain Americans' trust. Americans wants to be educated. No, public health officials should either resign or be prosecuted. Anthony Fauci, the first one. I don't know how Anthony Fauci is not behind bars already. Number 5, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo participated in medical malpractice and publicly covered up the total number of nursing home fatalities in New York. Oh yes, this was not only New York. This was not only in New York. This was worldwide. They hid the number of nursing home fatalities just because of you. You remember why? You remember what was the reason of the fatalities? You remember how disruptive were those lockdowns? Well, here's the best part. In addition to these notable bipartisan successes, they call this success. They call this a success. The Selective Committee developed extensive findings, some of which include, number 1, the U.S. National Institutes of Health funded gain-of-function research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. I can't believe that. How long has it passed? It was like 5 years. Like 5 years. You needed 5 years and 500 pages and, I don't know, thousands of man-hours to find that out? Seriously? How many millions did you spend on that breakthrough research? We knew that from day one. The virus from China. Oh, you cannot say the virus from China. That is racist. That is racist. Number 2, the Chinese government. The Chinese government. Agencies within the U.S. government and some members of the international scientific community sought to cover up facts concerning the origins of the pandemic. I need here. They are just covering for the World Health Organization. They are covering up for Dr. Tedros. They're covering up for so many people that are directly responsible for all these decisions. And Dr. Tedros knew that this was going to come out really soon. And 2 weeks ago, he was saying, oh, we never push for any forced vaccines on anybody. Maybe the World Health Organization did not push themselves from vaccination. I don't have any concrete clips. I would have the receipts. I would show them here. I don't have them, maybe. But they did push governments into all this crazy stuff of the lockdowns, of the not letting people hug, of drones and helicopters pursuing people on the street, walking like nobody around. And like, this is what? Like, this is a dystopia. Let's play dystopia. These are just a bunch of sadists. This is just a bunch of sadists. They wanted to do this just for kicks and giggles. So you remember, like in the UK, the parties at number 10, lockdowns for you, but not for me. And Boris Johnson, by the way, Boris Johnson was saying that, oh yeah, that we should be, if the United States doesn't help Ukraine anymore, we will be sending troops, British troops there. I mean, these people are insane. I just want citizens of all these countries to realize that they were lied to, and so many people were terminally affected by all that had happened during the pandemic. They never were the same. And don't get me started with the children at schools, with this experiment. Remember Australia, New Zealand, and it was horrible. We also have number 3, Operation Warp Speed. You remember the creation and the releasing of the vaccines. Operation Warp Speed was tremendous success and a model to build upon in the future. I wouldn't say force an experimental treatment on billions of people a success. That is insane. And it was forced. It was forced to go to restaurants. It was forced to buy food. It was forced if you want to travel outside of your country or into another country, except for Sweden. What happened to Sweden? Did Sweden disappear? Oh, nobody wants to mention Sweden, of course. Nobody wants to mention Sweden because Sweden made every other country in the world look bad. Because Sweden did not have lockdowns and they did not die. But nobody mentions Sweden anymore. That's the reason. They make everyone else look bad. The vaccines, which are now probably better characterized as therapeutics, nice word in there, undoubtedly saved millions of lives by diminishing likelihood of severe disease and death. You know which other thing minimizes likelihood of severe disease and death? Not poison your citizens with the food. Not poison them because it's a great business. Make sure that your citizens are in good health. Make sure that it's not only healthcare, but also the prevention of the use of healthcare. Make sure that your citizens are healthy, which is, of course, it costs a lot. Instead of giving money to illegal migrants, instead of letting those migrants inside of the country, you might have this, use all those billions into health prevention programs. So your citizens of all ages are stronger, and if they catch something as SARS-CoV-2 and then develop COVID, then they don't require as much as of treatment. That could happen, of course. So many people that got COVID and they didn't even notice that. Some catch COVID and got long COVID. When you have billions of people like that, that's bound to happen. But it's way too suspicious that it happened mainly at first to the elderly. Why? Because they have diminished this immunocompromised. You understand, their immune system, as they are elder, well, it's not as strong as somebody in their 40s and much less than somebody in their 20s, let alone children. But no, let's push this into every single person because why? Because of the lie. This is going to prevent transmission, which was a lie. Why did they tell that lie? Because it was much more profitable to administer the vaccine to everybody, even 6-month babies. So I'm just so if you got the vaccine, I just want to tell you, most likely you have nothing to fear. There's nothing, in the vast majority of cases, yes, it was designed to get rid of the virus. But the problem is that the virus was not that dangerous in the first place. The virus was dangerous if you had a compromised immune system, if you were of certain age. You know, that's mixing up the things. So it's not a big deal if you were forced by your work or for travel or something, buying food, to get 1, 2, 3 shots. That you're gonna be mostly okay. We wish. In fact, that's what I'm telling you. mRNA technology should be the future in many ways, as long as it is treated the right way, not this crazy stuff. Number 4, rampant fraud, waste, and abuse played the COVID-19 pandemic response. You needed 500 pages for this? You need 500 pages for this? This is crazy. Number 5, pandemic era school closures will have enduring impact on generations of America's children, and these closures were enabled by groups meant to serve those children. We already know, not only in the United States, but the world, that so many people in charge of the well-being of children are flat out PDF files. And you know what I'm talking about. Not the Adobe Acrobat kind. Now, the other kind. These people are sadists. These people got into that job protecting children so they could have access to children. If you can, we can talk about the Clintons and Haiti as well, but I don't know how much I can say until being canceled. Number 6, the Constitution cannot be suspended in times of crisis and restrictions on freedoms sow distrust in public health. No shit. Again, you can save yourself. You can save yourself the 500 pages. It's not necessary. Not necessary at all. Number 7, the prescription cannot be worse than the disease, such as strict and overly broad lockdowns that led to predictable anguish and avoidable consequences. And they failed to mention the masks. The masks that were this humongous amount of waste. And they did nothing. This was silly. We saw the descriptions of people, of doctors and nurses in the front lines. We're talking about a virus. You know how small a virus is? You know how can they, if a virus that size is airborne, it's over. We are all going to get it. And if we are all going to get it, and nothing is going to stop that transmission, because nothing will stop that transmission, then it's game over. It's that simple. It's game over. You cannot do anything. We are done. Oh, well, but some people got COVID and they didn't even have symptoms. How does it work? Did they care to know, find out why some people got symptoms and others didn't? No, let's just lock down everybody. Just lock down everybody and make sure that you give the shot to everybody. This would be great. This would be profitable. And we will make sure to strain our own economy, because in the end, straining the economy is another form of control. We can blame any country any government had a free pass. Oh, the economy is going bad because of COVID, because of the pandemic, because of the lockdowns. Oh, it's not like the economy is bad that your local mom and pop shop closed. No, it was because of the pandemic, because of the lockdowns. If you are against the lockdowns and you are a conspiracy theorist, I can be here all day. You can have 5,000 pages reports. It would be insane. We learn a lesson in how humans work.